Hey guys, so I'm back. I'm back to share with you a another ETF that I found that could possibly be a core holding. It it competes very well with SPHD as far as total return is concerned, and we'll go through it and see if it'll fit for you. And if you're new to the channel, please do me a favor, hit subscribe and like and leave me a comment down below. I do these videos. I share everything I'm trying to learn from investing. I've been investing since 2018. I share monthly dividend income that I'm doing, all the mistakes that I've made. I got a dividend income update coming up here for the month of April, which will be very interesting. I'll be having some bad news, but I'll be excited about it, and you'll find out why. But thank you very much. If you do subscribe and like, I appreciate that. But in this episode, we're talking about SPHD, the famous SPHD that doesn't need any introduction. It is probably the most purchased ETF for new investors out there, probably next to VOO or something like that. SPHD has to be up there. And I just try to find something. I try to steer people. SPHD is not a bad fund, okay? I think SPHD fits people that are heading toward retirement and possibly need a consistent monthly dividend. Now, I really don't think that should be a consideration. If you are investing and you're towards retirement, you should be able to manage pretty well without having to have a monthly uh, dividend cash flow. You should be managing your money a little differently, but that's a topic for another video. But that is the appeal of SPHD, the high yield monthly dividend. The bad part about SPHD is that it severely underperforms. It really does. And if you look at SPHD, it only holds about 51 holdings, so it's not very diversified. It has some good top 10 holdings for sure. But the one big thing that it does have right now that really took away the low volatility is that it has 18% in real estate, 10% in energy, and those two sectors got hit pretty bad here lately. So just a really quick overview. SPHD, it's a large cap value fund with 51 holdings. It covers mostly large and mid cap companies with real estate, utilities, consumer staples, financials, and energy making up over probably 60% of the fund. Now, the one that I'm talking about that could possibly be a core holding, but probably won't be so popular with people, is the ETF DGRW. And this is from Wisdom Tree, and it's a US based quality dividend growth fund. So what this does is with SPHD, what they do is they historically they invest in stocks that provide high dividend yields with lower volatility. So all they do is look at those two things. If it has low volatility and a high dividend yield, they're buying it. What DGRW does differently is they look at the fundamentals of the company and they weight the best ones at the top, and they look for dividend paying common stocks with growth characteristics. That is the big difference. Now, you look at the total holdings for DGRW, and it has 279 holdings in there in the ETF. And it has some very big names that we're all familiar with: Verizon, Microsoft, Apple, Procter and Gamble, Merck, Pepsi, Altria, Intel, Bristol Myers Squibb, United Health. The top 10 has 38% of the fund's holdings, or yeah. And this is mostly, we go to market cap, this is mostly large cap. Has about 10% of mid cap, 3% small cap. And you'll see the style map is a large cap blend. So it's a blend of value and growth. So when you see a fund that says blend, that's just, it's kind of in the middle. It has some value stocks. It also has some growth stocks. If you look at their sector exposure, you got 23% of technology, 17.6% of healthcare, 17.4% of industrials, almost 16% of consumer staples. And that takes up, what is that, 20, 30, 40, 55, 65, almost 70% of the fund is in those four sectors. Now let's take a look, though. What people will be turned off about is the dividend yield. Because if we look at SPHD, now SPHD has a pretty smooth dividend every month. I have a feeling that is a managed payout, because there's no way you can get 50 stocks to pay out as smoothly as this is. And when I say managed payout, they just take the payouts that they're getting, because most of the companies that are in SPHD pay quarterly. So they just collect all the dividends and they just spread them out to you month by month. To me, that's the only way that SPHD would be able to get you as smooth of a monthly dividend as this. But if we look at the dividend scorecard, I'm recording this on Thursday night, so this price is not going to add up. We're right at 5.95% dividend yield, which isn't bad. 10.97% 5-year growth rate. Now, if we go over here to DGRW, we go to dividends, you'll see it has a 2.3% dividend yield and a 13.84% 5-year growth rate. DGRW also pays monthly. But here's what people probably will not like about it. And you'll see the choppiness of the dividend payouts. So they don't manage the payout. So whatever they get in that 3-month quarter or in that month, they'll pay it out. So you're not going to get a smooth payout every month. It's gonna fluctuate with how those companies that are in the fund pay out. I hope that makes sense. Now, we look at fund overlap. I just wanted to go through this exercise, and I got in there DGRW and SPHD. And overlap means how many companies does each ETF share? So here we have 9 holdings that they each share. So there's 9 holdings that DGRW has, that SPHD also has, and vice versa. And this will show you. I'm not logged in. If you're not logged in, it won't show you very much. It'll only show you the top 5. So they have in common Altria, Verizon, Gilead, 3M, and UPS. Now, one thing that I want to encourage you to look at is total return, okay? Regardless of a 6% dividend yield that SPHD puts out versus the 2.3% dividend yield that DGRW puts out, DGRW has outperformed SPHD in spades. So This is the ETF channel. I got SPHD in here right now. And you come down here to performance, and you can compare SPHD to whatever you want. You can compare it to the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow 30. What I'm going to compare it to is DGRW. And what this does is chart you $10,000 invested in SPHD and DGRW. It won't go all the way back to 95 because neither of these ETFs were around in 95, but it'll give you as far back as you can. Okay, so you just click that, and we'll take a look at the total return here. And if we look from May 22nd, 2013 till today, SPHD gave you a average annual return of 5.06%. That's with dividends reinvested. DGRW, average annual return of 9.89% with dividends reinvested. So you almost had double the performance out of DGRW with a lower dividend yield. So high dividend yields, look, when I first started, all I did was look at dividend yields. That's all I did. Give me that, 6, 7, 8, 10% yield. You really need to look at the complete picture. And a 2.3% yield might sound, it might sound low and not, not so attractive. And SPHD's 6% yield looks pretty tasty. But when you look at it over the course of time, numbers don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie. Your $10,000 would have turned into $14,075.89 with SPHD, and with DGRW, your $10,000 would have turned into $19,216.64. That's what is that? Almost 50, a little over $5,100 difference by taking the ETF that focuses on dividend growth, has a lower dividend yield, but has a lot more quality. They look for quality companies with dividend growth in mind. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope this helps. If there's any ETFs you'd like me to do this exercise on, please leave me a comment down below. I would appreciate it. Also, just leave a general comment. I'd love to interact with you. I interact with all comments. So I hope you guys are staying safe, and you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.